Powerboat P1, the latest news direct from Powerboat P1, with the teams are behind the scenes.
The sun shone in Gosport as the Powerboat Superstock Grand Prix of the Sea arrived on the south coast. High winds made racing tricky on the Solent, but thousands of spectators at Stokes Bay were treated to another first-class weekend of racing. For Team South Street, it's been a challenging season, as Ian Brusby explained to Shelley, Jory-Leigh.
When we went to Scarborough, we arrived. We'd not seen the boat. We arrived in Scarborough and it didn't have an engine, so we were unable to race the whole weekend. So we didn't do anything there. And then the next race in Greenock, again we hadn't seen the boat between Scarborough and Greenock because it had gone away to get an engine. So we arrived in Greenock and the boat was there, so we'd not had any testing time or anything like that. Flat calm, a little bit difficult for us. We haven't got the top end. You know, there's a little bit of a difference in some of the boats. But we did what we could. We had an oil issue problem, so we didn't finish the first race, and then didn't get out in the second, managed to get out in the third. So leaving Greenock, we were travelling back down to Plymouth, and we got to Birmingham, and we had an issue with a wheel hub on the trailer which fell off. So it took us 26 hours, I think, to get from Greenock to Plymouth. So we left the trailer in Birmingham. It got recovered, but it got recovered straight to Gosport for the race in here. So you've not had the boat or had any time to test in, nothing, practice or anything. So we got in the boat in Gosport and went out on the first race, and the engine fell off. So
Ian,
so it was changed overnight, and we got out today. And the conditions suit us a little bit better. It's a bit rougher, but we didn't want to push too much because I didn't want to break another engine. So I think we got fifth in the first race today, and then in the second race again we were last out the first corner. But we gradually got a bit more confidence in the engine that it would probably hold out, so we started to push a bit and we clawed our way back to fourth, I think. So on the whole, sort of bit of bad luck, but today was a bit better. So
all I can say is thank goodness we can at last see South Street up there, a fifth and a fourth this weekend. That is great. And let's roll on Cardiff.
Well, again, Cardiff I think is going to be flat, so we may struggle there again, but we'll see. We'll hopefully again. We're hoping to get the boat down to Plymouth, see if we can do anything to it to maybe get a little bit more out of it. And you know what it's like, just trying to tweak it a bit. And then we'll go to Cardiff and see what happens.
Ian Brusby from Team South Street. And Gosport proved to be a difficult venue for former championship leaders Quantum Racing. Here's John Donnelly.
We had a few issues in Scotland which didn't go our way, so we lost a few points there. And coming into this weekend, we've had a rough weekend here. Had a little bit of mechanical errors yesterday. Unfortunately, still debate about the rule book about that one. According to the rule book, we could have finished the race and got our points, but they were taken away from us. So,
just explain, what happened and what your controversy is.
Well, basically, if you can still steer the boat and you still have forward drive and you have control of the vessel, then you have 15 minutes from when the lead boat finishes the race to complete the course. And as long as you do that safely, there is no reason why you can't complete the course and take the points for the last place race, which would have made a big difference to us this weekend, and probably put us very close to the podium, if not on it. A little bit upset about that.
So basically the boat broke down, but you were still under small power and you could have crept across that finish line.
Absolutely, you were still making 3-4 knots, so we had steerage, we had control, we'd have made it over the line quite happily. We did make it over the line. It was filmed by the RYA, us going over the line, but still we didn't get the points for that.
Okay, so a little bit of controversy there, which hopefully it could sort itself out and you can go to dispute over it. Vin, tell me, regardless of the controversy, tell me about the rest of the weekend, because obviously that was only one incident.
The rest of the weekend, Shelley, as you know, amongst the P1 fleet, it's a fantastic series, but I'm the only private entered boat, which basically means that I own my own boat. It's a very, very difficult conditions today to race in, as well as yesterday, and it's a very expensive sport, and if you break the boat, then you're just not racing in the next few races. So we have to drop back. We just can't push it to the max that the boat might break, because, you know, is some of that down to lack of sponsorship as well? I mean, it's like anything. When you're racing and you're racing hard, if you don't have the sponsorship in the team to mend the boat, you can't race it as hard as you want to race it. Absolutely. It really is down to parts that are available and preserving the boat for the rest of the rounds. And as I say, it's all coming out of my pocket. And it's just getting very expensive. So rather than go out and do something really silly and snap an engine off, which would then put us out for the rest of the series, we decided to play safe. As you know, a few team tactics came into position, and a few boats got ahead of us, but we were able to hold back the team that are leading the championships. We've done the best we could this weekend in the conditions that are out there. Okay, so we're not on the podium, guys, but where does that leave us in the overall championships, which is what everyone is fighting for? You're looking confused at me. You have no idea. We don't know.
No, I mean, I think we're still in the rounds that are amongst it all. You know, we've got Cardiff as the next round, which, you know, hopefully that's one of my fortes. So hopefully we'll just pull it back there. And with a bit of luck going our way for a change, you never know, that might push us right back up there.
Quantum Racing's Vin Burdock explaining some of the challenges of powerboat racing. And the weekend wasn't without incident for other teams either. Team Royal Bank overcame mechanical difficulties on Saturday to pick up valuable points on Sunday and then claimed third position for the round. It was Bournemouth's Aaron Scott who stepped in last minute to drive the team onto the podium before jetting away. The team's normal driver, Stuart Curiton, explained why to Shelley.
Well, because of the accident I had in Inverclyde and the fact I had my licence sort of suspended till I get a good medical. Aaron Scott stepped in to race the boat this weekend. Unfortunately, I'm speaking on behalf of Aaron because Aaron's had to run to catch an international flight. He's got this evening and can't quite be around at the moment. So that's why you're talking to me.
So all change in the seats. So Sarah's had to actually race with a new driver, which is quite unnerving, and after an accident, very unnerving. But what a great weekend.
Yeah, they've had a fantastic weekend, not without challenges. You know, yesterday they just got the boat home because there was lots of technical issues with it. Worked on it till about midnight last night. Aaron and the whole PowerTech team as well, just to get it working well. Bit unknown this morning. It went in the water, and I think Sarah will have to tell you how the races went, but it looked like it was flying by the second race.
It certainly did, and the last race was just superb. Sarah, what was it like to suddenly race with... Have you ever raced with anyone else apart from your husband?
No, I've raced with another lady a long time ago, but it has been a while since I've raced with anybody else. It was getting back in the boat for the first time after an accident. We had very little in terms of instruments at all. We did manage to get some comms, which was something, but being with a new driver, getting back in, it wasn't without trepidation, but it ended well, so I'm pleased to be back in one piece.
You certainly were very nervous yesterday, and rightly so. I think if you weren't nervous, there'd have been something wrong with you. You know, Aaron's got a reputation. He is a hard and fast driver. He's sort of win or bust. So what was it like to sit next to him? Tell us the truth.
It was without challenge. I mean, he's so much more aggressive than Stuart, and it's just trying to rein him in rather than some things. And he likes to go quite close to the boys at sometimes. So, yeah, it's just trying to keep him under control. But to be fair to him, he did listen to me, which I'm thrilled about.
I think you're the first woman or first navigator, not even woman, first navigator Aaron Scott has ever listened to. So well done, Sarah. But what a great weekend. I mean, you've come third overall. It's pushed you back up probably into the middle part of the overall standings in the championships. How does it feel?
It feels amazing. You know, this I think has been the worst weekend in terms of challenging mentally for me, and I'm just so pleased what we've come out with.
Team Royal Bank's Sarah Curiton, well, championship leaders Per Temps Network continued their excellent start to the season to finish second overall. They took their first victory of the weekend in race 3. Daisy Coleman, however, was cautious about about claiming the season prize so soon.
Oh, don't speak too soon, Shelley. We've still got 2 events. We've got Cardiff, and we all know what happened in Bournemouth last year, and it was really rough, so anything can happen.
But this weekend has been great. I mean, I would say, I don't know, I wasn't in the boat with you, but as a racer, I think you've played a very careful game this weekend, haven't you?
We have. We've played it a little bit tactical, Shelley. Obviously, this is our first time Sam and I have been in these waters together, so we thought, you know what, we're not going to break the boat. We've got to finish the 4th race on the 2nd day, so we thought, right, we'll take our time yesterday, feel our way around a bit, and just nurse the boat home, basically. And then today we thought, we had a chat with John last night, and picked us into place, and sort of went out today and won the 1st and came 3rd and 2nd, so chuffed to bits with that.
Now, John Wilson is your ex team owner and team driver. Sam, you've actually sort of had to step into a very large seat there. He's a very experienced racer.
Yeah.
What did he say to you last night?
Oh, can't give it too much.
I can't tell you exactly what he said, but it was more about putting my head back in the right place. I've never raced in the Solent before, so with the unpredictable waters, I was sort of over-reading them and not letting the boat do too much and trying to pick every wave out, and I was beating myself up when I missed a wave and stuff, and I really struggled with that and was miles out with the trim settings yesterday. So we had a chat about that overnight, came out with a blank sheet of paper this morning and felt really comfortable, like really happy, so we were on it straight away this morning.
The Solent looked easy this afternoon. I mean, and I'm saying that sitting on the beach, and I know what you're going through. It was sort of a very short, hard chop. But there's often holes out there. Was it as easy as it looked?
No, that's what I struggled with, was there wasn't really a rhythm to it as usual, as we found in Scarborough or Bournemouth where I raced last year. So it wasn't quite so readable, and it was the holes that would catch me out, so to speak. And there was quite a bit of ferry traffic and stuff going up and down as well. So there was a lot
welcome
of stuff,
to the Solent.
yeah, there was a lot of stuff coming from the side that I was like, oh man, that looks big, and that's not coming in from where the waves were coming before. I was like, hold on, just hold on. But yeah, we felt so much more comfortable today and so much more at ease. I was buzzing, absolutely buzzing.
Well, don't beat yourself up, Sam, because I tell you what, a lot of us get it wrong in the Solent, including myself. Tell me a little bit what's going to happen before Cardiff, guys.
We've got some practice to do. If the boat's got a little bit of fiberglass work needs to be done, the engine's gonna have a service, and we're gonna go out and do some testing in the flat and just make sure we're on the money.
We lost the trim motor in the last race as well, so it was trimming itself back out. So that's where we really struggled even though we finished 3rd, close to South Street gave us a bit of a run at the end of the race, which was interesting, but we couldn't really hang with the guys in front because it was just a bit too loose. So we need to sort out the trim motor as well. So.
Daisy and Sam Coleman from Per Temps Network reflecting on a successful weekend in Gosport and looking forward to Cardiff Bay. And it was an impressive first ever P1 Superstock win for experienced Kissimmee and on home waters. Picking up where they left off on day 1, brothers Neil and Jason Jackson used their racing experience to claim 2nd and then 1st in Sunday's races.
Thank you very much, Shelley. It's been hard work, but I've heard so much about the Panther boats, and this is our first season in them, and to be perfectly honest with you, they're just a sheep in wolf's clothing. You can tame them, just get out on the Solent there, push hard, drive with the knowledge and experience that you gain in through racing, and you can win. We've proved that today.
What was it actually like out there, Jason? Because it looked like you were just sort of, easily going across the chop out there, but I know and you know that the Solent can also be a horrible place.
Well, Shelley, the start was interesting, shall we say. It was very close, heart in the mouth kind of stuff, boats everywhere on the first mark, but everyone was great, everyone was respectful, gave room. The Solent, well, it threw up its usual chip chop. All we did was kept our heads down and cracked on. We just pushed as hard as we could, and that was that. We got the result.
I mean, the wind is howling here still. Thank goodness the sun has come out as it was yesterday. Just take us through the weekend, Neil, because you've actually had 4 races and they've all been really successful for you.
Yeah, we've been lucky. Luck is a massive element, as you know. Yes, you build your own luck by doing your maintenance and learning your craft. The wind hasn't been so bad. I've been quietly surprised. I thought it would have been a lot worse out there, but no, it's not been so bad at all. And again, you can pick your way through. Just look at the wave conditions, drive with the throttle. You know that, Shelley. You're more experienced than me.
Oh, thank you for the compliment, but I think not now. I think after this weekend, just talk me through all the 4 great races you've had.
Well, the first one, we got a bad start, the engine cut out. They're notorious for that. They are a leisure engine, pushed to hard extremes for racing. But we manage now, we know exactly how to restart it as a unit. Jason selects neutral, I start the engine, and we're off again. And we actually didn't lose so many places. Then we managed to claw our way up through by a little bit of hard work up to second, and that wasn't so bad. Second race, we just were very lucky with the start. Great start, and managed to find ourselves out in the lead. And then today's race is much the same in the first race. Didn't get a brilliant start, clawed our way up to second, and in the second race again, fantastic start. Actually, we were behind a raw bank, and Jason pulled a fantastic decision. He says, go for the pit lap, clean water, all the way home to the win.
Jason, you are the hero of the moment. It's not about the driver. It's, as I've said many times before, it is about the navigator. In the end of the day, he's a puppet. He's doing what you say. You called the shot today. Well done. What made you do that?
It's a team effort, Shelley. You know that. I just saw the clean water. We were going to struggle to catch raw bank. It was costing us time on his used water. I looked at the pit lap and it was clear no one had taken it. So I shouted for the pit lap. We took off. We took the pit lap. We drove clean. We drove clear. We drove fast, and we made up the time. It was a good decision. Inspired.
Jason Jackson from Team Experience Kissimmee, looking back on a successful weekend in Gosport. Well, as we've heard, the wind played a big part in what was a tricky weekend for Officer of the Day, Mick Pritchard.
The Officer of the Day, quite simply, Shelley, is to keep the rules, to keep the peace, to make sure the racing is as fair as possible, understand the racing incidents that happen throughout the day, and basically come up with the best outcome for all, really.
So you're like our commander, really, aren't you? You are the be end and end all for rules and who's disqualified and who isn't. We've had some incidents this weekend. Just explain them to us, sort of roughly, what's happened yesterday and today.
Well, we've had a couple of let's call them failure to navigate, where the guys have missed the odd mark or two. We've had a few incidents where it's looked like we've had a coming together, so obviously we have to go back over the footage and make sure that didn't happen. We've had everything. We've had engines break, we've had saddles break, we've had people break, we've had boats break, combined with all the jet ski racing at the same time. It's a fun weekend.
It's a tough weekend for you and your team. Now, the Solent is renowned for being one of the toughest pieces of water. It's rough out there. You've got ferries, traffic, and everything. How do you guys cope with that?
It's quite simple. We just roll with the punches, really. I mean, Gosport's always been an interesting race ground. I mean, I've raced here myself. It always takes its toll. I mean, Gosport, Slopes Bay finds your weakness and gives you a kicking on it. But yeah, I mean, it's a juggling act. It's QHM water, obviously, so there's rules to abide by, and it's a shipping channel, so we get everything: rolling waves, bit of chop, wind. It's an interesting venue.
Now, you're a championship racer yourself. You hate to be beaten in anything. I've got to ask you the question, what do you prefer, racing or being in charge of us all?
Oh, racing, I think. Racing, without a doubt. Very frustrating watching aquacross, having competed in it. I just want to get back out there on the ski and stuff. But unfortunately, someone's got to control the monster. And fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on who you're talking to, racers or officials, that's fallen to me.
Mick Pritchard, Officer of the Day, talking to Shelley Jory-Leigh after the Gosport round of the P1 Superstock Championships. Next stop on the calendar, Cardiff Bay.